What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Wealthyverse show. We are here today with another video for you guys, a Q&A with none than the other than the dev for Goji token. And with me today are my amazing partners, Shane and Mr. Legal Alien. Fellas,
How you doing, Steven? Nice to
Hey,
see you today.
excellent, excellent. How are y'all guys?
Good. We're doing great.
It's Friday, right?
Oh, happy Friday. Everybody loves a Friday.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's time
yes,
for me.
yes. How you doing over there, Legal? Man, your mic is all right. We can't hear nothing. But
Much good.
yes, until let's wait till he get
Oh,
this
I'm muted.
situated.
My bad.
Good. Good.
I'm sorry. No, man, I'm doing good. I woke up not feeling too hot, but you know what? I'm trucking along. I'm doing a lot better now, and I'm
Drink
just
some
another day
tequila, you'll
above
be all
ground, man.
right.
I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Get some tequila and lemon, you'll be fine.
I got some coffee, man. Hopefully that'll do me some good right now.
Coffee at this time. But anyhow, we got Mr. Steven in the building. One of there for Goji token. We are excited. We are happy to have him here. I don't know. I know some of you guys may know about Goji token. It's a huge ecosystem. That Goji is actually one of their token. They have like I think four, right, Mr. Steven?
Absolutely. We got four. They're minted at different quantities, right? And so they're priced based on that quantity, right? So,
All right, amazing. We're gonna go ahead and address some of the community members and see who's here and say hi to them. After that, we're gonna go into trying to figure out who you are, your history, your background, everything about you, and then we have some questions for you. And also, the community member will have some members will have some questions for you as well. We're gonna make it a great show. We're gonna have a good time. Please, everybody, if you haven't done so, smash the like button as well. And shout out to the GOAT team. Shout out to Delta Flair. Shout out to everybody who supports this channel. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. And we here for you guys. So now we have Jessica in the building. What's going on, Jessica? What's going on, Andrew? How we doing? 631 NJ. What's up? What's up with you? How we doing? Welcome. Nice to have you. Appreciate you guys' support. Andrew, how's it going? Welcome to the show. Caleb, how's it going? Mr. Derek's in the building. We love you guys. And Axel, what's going on? So now let's go ahead and get to Mr. Steven because this is why we're here. This is why we're here today. We're here for Goji, and we're
absolutely.
excited to have him here. So, Mr. Steven, go ahead and tell us about yourself. Tell us about, first and foremost, how'd you come about, getting into crypto, and also have you been involved in any other project?
I haven't been involved in any other projects. So my background is 30 years in IT, right? Most of it's research and development for AT&T Labs, right? My last job was with New York Life. I was a chief architect to their cloud environment, right? They went into the cloud uh, build, switch over to the cloud from data center, right? And so at the end of my time, I was leading 6 architects, right? On the whole push to the cloud, right? A big AWS shop. We automated a lot of that stuff, right? And that was about 6 years of my tenure. While I was actually doing crypto, right? So I actually saw all the bad actors and stuff like that, scams and everything. And it says, look, blockchain is a great technology. We have to change it, right? We have to put an environment out there that community can trust, right? And so that's where the ideal of Goji Crypto came up, right? And so it's expanding on that thought is to say, okay, what do we need to build day one, right, to the future? And I gave myself 10 years, right? How can I build a ecosystem that not just me, but generations after me can flourish, right? And benefit from, right? And so that's the whole the whole mantra that I'm actually marching to, how to get there, right? We started out just building just the tokens and liquidity, right? And that was all the 4 tokens that we came up with. One's minted at 1 quadrillion, the other one's at 1 trillion, the other one's at 1 billion, and the other one's at 1 million, right? They're all 1,000 apart based on that math, right? And so we tied them price wise 1,000 apart, right? So it said 1,000 Hanu equals one Mia, right? And so on up the chain, right? As we provided that, we decided, okay, where do we need to go next, right? And that's where we came up with the SaaS environment. We know businesses, this is my work for New York Life and AT&T, aren't going to jump into blockchain immediately, right? And so how do we take these baby steps and build that platform or that ecosystem where these businesses will benefit from cost reduction, less infrastructure, less management, right? And then we also looked at the community side. How do we tie community to the business, right? And so that's where we reached out to community members and figure out what does the community want, right? A lot of it's staking, farming, all that stuff. So that's where we set out, knowing that business is going to come in the future. How do we do community stuff first, right? And so that's where we set out with developers, talk to them. Okay, let's build a staking platform. Let's build a farming platform, a logging platform, a DAO, right? But we went an extra step. Instead of just staking for Goji crypto, it's a staking as a service. That means that other community projects can actually come to us and use that platform without having to do development, right? And as we build this trusted environment, we can expand and certify projects to use that services, right?
That is interesting. That is very interesting. I'm sitting here getting lost on your website right now. No lie.
Yeah,
It's a,
there's a lot of information there, right? And so
it's,
we provide a lot. Right now, I pulled back the development on the staking farming, right? It didn't have what I saw as a good quality project. It needed more functions and capabilities. And so we have the dev reworking that so it's all self-serve, right? And hopefully that comes out in the next month or so we can audit it, right? And then we launch that. In the meantime, we always offer incentives, right? Today, I mean, Wednesday we launched an incentive. If you stake your Hanu ETH tokens, you'll get a drip of GABA, right? GABA is our governance token, right? That ties into the DAO that we'll have, right? And it'll also tie into some other staking APYs that you'll get just holding GABA, right?
okay.
GABA is that top coin, right? 1 billion Hanu equals one GABA. So you look at our prices, Hanu times it by a billion. That's the price of a GABA, right? And so we're as we extended the development, we decided to add more incentives, so the people that are waiting for that development to come through, they can actually get rewards by staking the LP tokens and get a reward of GABA.
If you were to break your project down into some basic word, like the whole ecosystem, how
Yeah.
would you do that?
I would break it down to we're providing a platform for generational wealth. What is generational wealth to you, Bert? What does that mean?
Balance for me, balance for my kids, balance for my kids, not only financial freedom, but also mentally free, not worrying about money, not worrying about how to provide.
Absolutely.
Because
Well,
there's a system that's put in place to constantly.
Absolutely. That's how we see it. But like I like to say it, we're extending time, right? We're giving our generation extra time because we start now, right? We start collecting assets. Now, generation wealth can go into tokens, artwork, property, whatever. But we extend that time to my next generation and then their generation, right? And as we add this extra time, those generations behind that we leave behind get the benefit of that extra time that we have here on earth, right? So absolutely.
I'm not gonna lie, you got an interesting project because it has so much into it, right? I don't think we'll ever run out of anything to talk about.
Yeah, so let me abstract this. So, everybody knows staking, farming, locking, DAO, all that stuff. We don't have to go into that. We know what that is. We're provided as a service for other projects as well, right? And we'll probably KYC it or KYB it, right, for finding a responsible entity that's going to, stake something on our platform. Now, if we go to the SaaS platform, right? That's an abstract, right? This is actually cloud computing, right? But it's cloud computing that talks to the blockchain. Right now, we're in 3 blockchains: Ethereum, Polygon, and Binance Smart Chain. We're reaching out to Cardano, Hiko, uh, OKE, uh, Stellar, right? That we tie in bridges where our liquidity can go from blockchain to blockchain, right? So right now our bridge has Hanu, where we can move it from blockchain to blockchain. Right? Most of y'all use bridges to go from blockchain to blockchain, but you have to convert to USDT or USDC, right? Move it and then convert it back or whatever, or trade it, right? We're providing where that SaaS platform can access those bridges and know where liquidity is, and say if business A is on Binance, business C is on Stellar, we do that communication and actually move those funds around, right? Because you got two companies on 2 different blockchains that can't talk to each other. Their business is not really that great, right? So we have to abstract that, and that's where I was talking earlier, where you brought up the megaverse. We're kind of similar, but we're all based on financial transactions, right?
Okay. So basically, it would be like allowing businesses that actually want to get into the megaverse, giving them a portal to actually join in, which that would allow them to do financial transaction within the metaverse type of stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, financial is that first sector we're hit, right? We can extend into real estate, escrow, supply chain, whatever, even payment processing, right? I mean, working with the New York Life, they're big on annuities. How can you take annuities, which is payment in fiat, and convert that to crypto and have payments be processed that way, right? And so there's a lot of things we can take, or from my experiences and other devs' experience in the corporate world, and how do you convert that into this new technology of using blockchain and transparency, right?
Okay.
One thing I'm noticing on the website that stood out to me is all 4 of your tokens in your ecosystem are on the Polygon network.
Well, yeah, so right now what we have is Hanu, which is on Ethereum, Polygon, and Binance, right? The other 3, Mia, Goji, and GABA, they're on Ethereum and Polygon. They haven't been bridged over to the Binance. We don't see a need for it today, right? It could get there. Eventually, Hanu is the most quantity, right? It was minted at 1 quadrillion. We have already burned 400 trillion, right? We believe, basically once locks come undone, we can probably cut that down to 300 trillion, right? We want 100 trillion. We don't know if the demand's going to need it. Even with 100 trillion, we could spread out across 10 different blockchain and move Hanu very easily around, right?
So what is the man? Because you have 4 different tokens. We already know what GABA is. I think we know what Hanu is. What is Goji is specifically, that
Yeah,
token?
those are really meant for the SaaS, right? But we give the community members, you can take Hanu, you can take Mia, and you can take Goji and stake it and get extra incentives based on the stack that you stake, right? That's the whole ideal of the 3. If you notice, we hold most of those tokens in our Gnosis safe. And the reason why we do this is it's not like just flooding the market with all these tokens. It's actually holding them back because we know that eventually businesses are going to need them, right? And so when business does transfer from A to B, company A and B, we actually wholesale those tokens, right? And then take the funds from that and then supply it in liquidity. Most of those transactions could be peer-to-peer, but we're building a swap interface to actually handle exchanges from that, right? It just gives us different levels of quantity of tokens in the same price range based on the multiplications of it, right?
Okay. Now I know not all the tokens are out yet, right?
Yeah, no, they're all available, right?
They're all
So
available.
they're
Okay.
all available.
Wow.
Hanu
Because
is the one tied to a primary token, right? Hanu is tied to Ethereum, Quick, Matic, BNB, and I think USDC or something like that, right? With that token, you can swap Hanu to Mia, Goji, and GABA, right? That there's liquidity in Uniswap and QuickSwap to swap Hanu, right, to get these other tokens.
Mm.
Yeah,
No,
whenever I
crazy.
put in the Dex tools, I think for Goji, I put the trading pairs Hanu that pops up.
Yep, absolutely. So and so Hanu is that entry token into the ecosystem, right? We're kind of trying to hold it that way because we're gonna our push, right, is on a swap between Hanu to Goji. To me, it's like going into a grocery store and said, "Here's a $1 bill. I need 4 quarters." We shouldn't be taxed on that swap. It's inside our ecosystem, not us, but our community members can, right? You don't charge people tax when they go in a grocery store and hand a $10 bill is that for 2 5s, do you? This works the same way, right? And so that's where we're trying to push the knowledge of that, right? As Goji crypto ecosystem grows, right? If you look at it, we have two areas that we look at companies. One can be a contributor, right? That means they're developing stuff based on the growth of the ecosystem. And
Mhm.
then there's partners, people that integrate into the ecosystem, right? And contributors will be like this other piece that I was talking earlier about the NFTs, right? And Goji Studio, where we build projects around the ecosystem, right? Where this could be an NFT game, it could be crypto games, it could be whatever, but it ties into our tokens, right? And gives more utilities and use for that ecosystem.
So
Mm.
let me ask you real quick. So looking at this, people like us that are used to the crypto space can figure it out. We can do our own research, jump between these different tokens you have. What would what would you tell our audience right now for those who are new to crypto? Because we do have a lot of people that are new that are getting into crypto and want to invest or, jump into the ecosystem. How would you break that down for somebody who has zero knowledge about how this all works and which token should they look into first or last, or if that even matters? Do you have a way to break that down for the audience?
Absolutely. For Goji, I would say just jump in Hanu, right? Because Hanu is paired with Goji, Mia, and so on, right? You really don't need the other three unless you start stacking the stake, right? That's not available yet. That'll probably be available, like I said, probably go and audit in a month or so. But if you get 1 billion Hanu, right, that equals, like I said, one GABA. It equals 1,000 Gojis, right? It has that multiplication that it doesn't matter which one you get. It's just when you start stacking the stakes for extra rewards, right? Where it comes in handy, right?
Gotcha. So you
Uh,
said you would tell people to go with Goji first or
Hanu.
Hanu? Hanu.
Hanu.
I was
Hanu's the
going
Hanu.
main one, right? So
Yeah.
okay.
So when Hana goes up in price, the other three goes up in price based on the swap,
Mm.
right?
Makes
Mm.
sense.
So it really doesn't matter if you're in those, right? Hana is a great one because hey, we in November we uh, submitted the application to Coinbase, right? In December they accepted that application. We're less than 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, they returned 7 legals and compliance issues that we had to solve. We solved those and reapplied, right? And so we're waiting for that process.
So that's Coinbase.
That's Coinbase.
Man, we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, and,
That's
and
good.
so Mia is the second token that has been submitted and has been accepted to go through the review process. Just today, I submitted Goji, and it's waiting in the queue, right? So we're slowly adding those to the list of Coinbase to go through that process. Now, Coinbase process is elaborate, right? They go through detailed information. And, me working in the corporate world, I understand that they're going to go through their internal process and policies to make sure everything checks and balances. And so we're going through that right now, right? So if you hopped in Hanu, that's probably your best bet. But like I said, you can start storing all the other ones as well. We have different incentives if you stake two of them. Say if you have Hanu and Mia and stake them together, you get an extra percent of that rewards of GABA, right? If you stake all three of them, it's a higher percent reward return, right? It's just saying you're staking three of our tokens and you'll get a reward of GABA in return, right? At a higher percentage.
Yeah,
Now-
I like that. I'm looking at so one thing that we like to do is check out the Ether scan and kind of take a look at how many holders you have. And I know you've been out about a year now, right? The project?
Yeah, June
June?
6th, I think was the go live date, right?
So less than a year, and it looks pretty healthy. You have almost 2,000 holders, so it's still really early. And based off of what you're telling us, how you all have evolved in the last 10 months or so, it has been amazing to see your entire ecosystem really come together. Yep. And especially now you're saying you've applied with Coinbase for review, and you guys are still progressing that route. So can you kind of go over the holder wallet numbers here? So like I see you guys have about 260 million in a dead wallet in value, right? And then I see these number 2, 3, and 4 look like they're going to be like number 2 and 3 is going to be liquidity for Uniswap. And it says Goji and then Mia, right? So that's the swapping feature, I'm assuming, that between those two wallets, or?
Yeah, that's the swap between Hanu and Goji and Hanu and Mia, right? That is 50% of the supply, right? So this is where I was talking about, we would like to get Hanu down to 300 trillion or 100 trillion. These are the locks that have to come undone so we can burn it, right? These are, when we started out with 1 quadrillion, this is 50% of the supply locked up in liquidity that can be swapped back and forth, right? The next one down below it is, what was it say?
This is Unicrypt, so this is going to be the locked vesting.
These are linear locks, right? Some of them are 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years, right? If you look at the white paper on the website, they'll tell you what those Unicrypt locks are and what times they expire, right? The next one is the LLC safe, Ganasa safe, right? Multi-sig signature on it. We use that to, right now we're doing, I don't know how much is in there. I can't see the small print, but we're doing a thing, like I said, with NASCAR. And so every race at the checker flag, we burn 1 trillion, right? For that race, right? So yeah, that will actually burn at least 36 trillion Hanu for this year, right? So we're trying to cut down the supply as the total circulation starts increasing, right? And so eventually we'll get that balance, right? We don't know where that balance is going to go. That's why I said once these the liquidity locks come undone for Hanu and Goji and Hanu and Mia, we'll probably burn 100 trillion, right? Just right off the bat, right? Just to cut that supply back down and help that total circulation and total supply come closer to each other, right?
So real quick, you guys haven't even started the staking yet, you said. None of the staking. So what I like is when I look at the chart, which I guess we could get into there here shortly, I'm a big technical analyst guy, and you look at the chart, it looks like a very good entry. It looks like almost pre-sale prices or like entry level prices of when you guys literally first launched.
Yeah. So when we first launched, we did a lot of giveaways, right? We didn't sell off our tokens, right? Like I said, we're holding them for the SaaS application to sell to businesses, right? And so a lot of this where we're given 3x of LP, right? Or 2x of LP or whatever, right? And so a lot of that was free tokens that came in. So you'll see these spikes, these sell-offs, these spikes and sell-off. Right now, it looks like our chart is, getting to the bottom of the bowl, I like to say, right? It's consolidating. People sold off. their free rewards or whatever, right? And now we're hopefully starting to curve back up, right? And where we see a more demand on it, right? We are we're not offering staking on our platform, but on Unicrypt they have a staking platform, right? And we're offering that today. That started on Wednesday, I believe, right? So you can stake the LP Hanu, the LP for Hanu and ETH, and get GABA in return. Right now, there's a week of maybe gigs or someone can send you the link, or I'll send you a link so you have it. But there's a staking pool that will allow you to, if you go to farms, actually, if you go back to that screen, go to farms. Yeah, and then if you search, I can't see that screen, but
yeah, it's a little bit small, but we don't have to break all that down, but just give the information to the audience so they can do their research on that. But the good thing is, what we like to point out with audience or with projects, especially with you, Steven, is the fact that you're utilizing Unicrypt, you're locking things, you're locking liquidity. That makes our viewers feel more confident and safer knowing that you're going through all the right and proper steps to protect the community. So that's something that we just want to cover real quick. You don't have to break that down unless you want to break it down.
No, we can't. No, we believe in, like I said, Goji Crypto started by a thought as there's too many bad actors out there. How can we build a trusted platform, right? We know over time trust is created, right? But it takes time, right? It takes, us going through processes, us being transparent, us always talking about it, also listening and not just, speaking, but listening what community members want and how do we integrate that into either the community side or the business side, right? We're kind of a two-sided coin. And where does that make sense, right? For the SaaS, we're slowly rolling out the infrastructure. Like I said, we have bridges that go from Ethereum to Polygon, Ethereum to Binance, Binance to Polygon, eventually Cardano, Eco, and so on. And as these bridges are built, that sets the groundwork for the SaaS application, right? And a multi-chain DEX, right? During, like I said, I think I was talking about the war, our development team, we added a DEX aggregator as well to the development process outside of what's being developed today, right? And so that will be available as well, that we can spread across multiple chains, right?
So I know you mentioned you're working with NASCAR. Is there anything else like right now that you can tell us, other businesses that would ring a bell with audiences, or anything big that's coming up that you could kind of share a teaser with or anything like that?
No, I don't have anything. We are working. This gets a little tricky on DeFi and centralized, right? We have pursue Argos, right, for our KYC. Right, we know eventually we're going to have to put some KYC in the platform, right? And just one thing to rule out bad actors, anything for money laundering and whatever, right? How do we protect the ecosystem and provide a trusted platform for holders and businesses, right? And so there's a lot of integrations we're talking to as what would fall into our SaaS application that we don't have to write the code, but we can do a third-party integration with it, right?
So here's the white paper. I have the white paper pulled up, and for the audience looking, Steven has shared a lot of great information, and I'm sure your heads are like, whoa, this is not your typical project that you dive into. It's got a lot of moving parts. I'm very intrigued, and I am completely green when it comes to Goji project, but I tell you what, definitely once we get off this stream later, I'm going to do more diving in and taking a look at everything. But if we could go through the white paper just in general, I know you covered these tokens here, and then I think this is what you were talking about, the time lock tokens. Yep. They're broken down all the way up to about the 20-year linear lock, which is pretty cool.
Absolutely. And like I said, we don't see a need to most projects will, all right, I have all these tokens, let's get them all out and let me deal with the money I have and I'll work on that project, right? We kind of do the opposite. Let's hold these back and slowly release them on a timely emission that makes sense, right? And so we know eventually those tokens will either be burned or sold to businesses, right? At a bigger sell price, right? And so this gives the community more ease of not being dumped on, right? And so we're really cost conscious of the price and when there's need to be sold. We run a pretty tight ship team where it's a skeleton crew, right? We know eventually if we're going to offer to businesses cost reduction, we can't have a huge overhead of large stuff or a large management team or even development team. So we outsource that development and it's all based on project price, right? A consumption of, okay, for the DEX aggregate, we want to know what that price is and if is it reasonable to actually deploy it, right? If it's 30 grand, 40 grand, whatever, we take it as a cost to the ecosystem, but we only slowly drip out that tokens for those sales. There's not, oh, I need 40 grand, let me just dump 40 grand worth of tokens. No, let's do it over time, right? And take that cost and actually provide the liquidity between that, right? So we fund it ourselves as we slowly dripped out tokens, and so the price isn't hurt as well as badly. Right? My favorite page on the white paper is page 16. Right?
60?
16.
16, sorry. Let me get there real quick.
Yeah, so
and real quick, before you get there, I do like this question before we lose it.
Yeah.
Eric Dreyer, sorry man, I hope I pronounced it right. Eric has a good question here. What type of businesses would the SaaS be sold to? Who are you looking to sell this to in the future?
Yeah, so the SaaS right now is we're rolling out a minimum viable product, right? Because we know big business won't jump in feet first, right? They're going to tip their toes in it. So can we provide a small enterprise level type wallet that has single sign-on that can tie into SSO, right? And actually provide business process that a business will take for transactions, right? That's the first. And that will probably start out with small business, medium business, as we start integrating the larger businesses applications and helping them migrate out of a data center or from cloud into some type of decentralized application, right? That ties into their back end. So it's broad. Right now we're starting in the financial areas, but I think I was talking earlier in the green room is, you know, there's real estate, there's escrows, there's supply chain. There's a lot of areas, just even payment processing, right? Where we can actually do very quickly. We can take the Goji lock that we have today and offer that with a small modification as annuity payouts, right? It works the same way. There's the same mechanisms and controls around it. So we could do annuity payouts by going to Fidelity and say, hey, do you want to offer Cripple as a payment now, right? So when we architect things, we try to reuse the code that we have and make sense where it does in the business world. So my favorite definition is the Safi, all right, Gabby. This definition here tells you who I am, right? It tells you what I'm building in the future. This page really talks about what we want in the future and how do we get there.
So, question, because I have a couple buddies who work in software as a service as like a sales position. Do y'all have like some kind of sales team that's already, expanding it to different businesses and stuff like that?
No, so what we're doing right now is building the minimum viable product before we even try to sell it.
Oh, okay. Right on. Yes.
Yep. So that product will probably be released out in third quarter, right? And then that's where we start pursuing. We kind of want everything to be self-served, right? And how we do it through automation, right? Where they can go to the website and say, hey, yes, I'm company A, and I'm just a small boutique, but I want to accept crypto, or I want to do payment processing in crypto, right? And we provide that interface already, right? They just sign up. Bigger businesses, that's a huge architect engineer team where we do integration, like blockchain integration. One thing I like to tell people when I talk about blockchain, don't get concerned about the word blockchain. All it is a computer that talks to API, right? It's no different from a computer in a data center or in a cloud environment. They all talk APIs, right? And so blockchain is nothing different. It's just distributed infrastructure that is maintained by other people, right? Or other businesses as well.
That sounds good. So yeah, it says here, Sophia, translated to sapphire, is seen as a symbol of the heavens, a guardian of innocence, a bestower of truth. It is said to bring gifts of fulfillment, exhilaration, prosperity, and inner peace and beauty. And Gabanatsu translate to governance. The Sophia Gabanatsu governance process consists of the decision making and enforcement process for various different changes in parameters, contract deployments, policy specification, community incentives, and any improvements that will be driven by the community. I think that's pretty cool. You guys put a lot of thought into this and really wanted to. You can tell the thought that you guys put into it really shows that you really take this to heart and you're passionate about this project, especially even we're only on page 16 here and it looks like we're barely halfway through your white paper. You guys have put a lot of stuff in here, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you want to touch base a little bit more on this white paper and how this is all going to kind of like hit the final product, like where you see the vision you see you all ending up at, because you've got like a 20-year lock on a lot of these things. Yeah. And how do you see it growing from what you just explained now into like where it'll be in the next few years once all this really develops and takes off in the metaverses here?
Yeah, so the base of it, right, is that staking, farming, locking, and DAO as a service, right? These are services that we'll offer. Goji swap, a lot of projects are doing swaps, right? But we kind of stood back and say, okay, what does our SaaS platform need for a swap? And how do we deploy it on multiple chains, right? Again, our SaaS is an abstract of that, but we can still provide it where community members can use that as well, or even projects, right? And so that's a multi-level or dimension type functionality that we'll use Goji Swap for. We have in there Goji bridges; those are deployed, right? We do liquidity between all three chains. There is a Goji Pay there, right? Most of that is going to be a third-party integration, right? And that we can leverage and integrate a little quicker, right? Doesn't mean that we don't develop our in-house Goji payment gateway, right?
Is this it right here to go? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the payment gateway. That's kind of like I say payment processing. Where we tie into Stellar, right? That can real cheap gas transactions and kick off crypto payments, right? And leverage our bridges as well for different chains if we need to, right? And so that's the beauty of once we lay the groundwork from, say, we have 10 blockchains that we interface in our SaaS, we know how to move liquidity from blockchain to blockchain because we control those bridges, or we manufacture those bridges, so we know where to move liquidity, say for business A and B to actually do transfers, right? But the community gets to leverage that as well, right? If someone wants to take their Hanu and move it over to Binance, they can, right? They'll use the bridge, move it over, and say if they want to buy some cake with it, they can, or vice versa. Convert cake to Hanu and then move it to Ethereum, right?
Let me ask you, because like everything that you're explaining, I get it. I could go into there, figure it out. Do you all have like a plan to create a wallet or something and decentralized apps to either from your site or some way somehow to really go about the ecosystem and transfer and do these swaps and everything like that? Or is it? Can you explain that? to us?
Yeah, so that's where the DEX aggregator will work real well for community members, right? It'll be a D app at first, right? You'll just use it like kind of like the same thing as um, I forgot the name of it, but yeah, it's just a DEX aggregator, right? You'll put in I want token A and from this chain to the next chain. It'll go out there and figure it out. I don't think it's in this white paper, but we call it the Goji Unify router, right? And that's our DEX aggregator, right?
Okay.
That will eventually go into some type of mobile app that has its own wallet, right? We have talked about it. We have discussed with teams for white label wallets, but it's making more sense to actually do in-house development on that wallet. Right?
What's the timeline for this aggregator?
Yeah, so the DEX aggregator, the war broke out, right? My development team, and they're all over the place, right? We have 238 developers we can have access to globally, right? And so we made sure that we had, the resources available. They wanted to make sure a project was in because they're wrapping up the staking farming and all that. And so we already put the DEX aggregator on their books and they're starting to work on that. Right. And so I imagine that's going to be a 2 months, 3 months time frame. Right?
That's not bad. I've seen a lot of projects say they're going to come out with things now and it takes that long. So I like the fact that, you've provided something. It sounded like you're like, it sounds like it's going to be 2-3 months from now, but we understand the conflict with Ukraine and Russia, and we appreciate the transparency and you giving us at least some type of timeline and what you think would happen. But like I said, for you being here on our show today, taking the time to go through all this, it's quite a lot of information to digest. I'm glad we were able to present this project to our audience, because I can tell you what, even me being green with this project, I'm going to have to go in here later. There's just so much that really you can't cover all the technicalities and the specifics in one sitting. You really have to go in here and dive in. But this is probably one of the most interesting projects that I've seen personally, because there's so many different moving parts. And when I look here I want to pull up the DEX tool chart again for Hanu. Let me pull up here. Look over here at your total liquidity. You've got close to about $250,000 total liquidity, and the market cap is sitting at about $1 million market cap. And we look at the charts, and it looks like at one time you guys were way, 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 way up there. And for what you're telling me that you're doing and what you guys have coming, and especially that you said you're working with NASCAR and how you guys are burning, what was it, 100 trillion tokens, you said?
Yeah, each week it's 1 trillion. Now, if
1 trillion each week.
If our car places first, right? I can't give away the number of the car.
I was gonna see if I could get it to slip out. I was trying to break you in there, and I was gonna get it from you, but you caught yourself there. So you messed up my game plan, man.
But the plan is if he places first, right? We'll burn 2 trillion for that.
Okay.
Race, right. So we know we want to burn Hanu. Right. We know we're sitting at close to 600 trillion right now in total supply after all the burns we have done. We want to get that down to 300 trillion. Right. We also, if we can get that down to 100 trillion, that might be impossible, where we're going to try our best. Right. Even with 100 trillion, we can spread that across 10 different blockchains and still be sufficient. Right. Absolutely.
So real quick, the aggregator you said will hopefully within 2 to 3 months. That's the start of development or completion.
That's probably where it hits audit, right?
Audit. Okay, and then the staking mechanism for Hanu. When will that come?
Yeah, so they're wrapping that development up this month, right? So hopefully we go into audit, right? Again, we don't know what to expect out of audit. There might be some rework of some code, right? And we'll go through a couple of iterations and get out there, right?
And is that internal audits or are you using third-party audits?
Third-party audits, yeah, third-party audits. Right?
Can you name it?
Not yet, right? There's a couple ones that we want to look at, right? And again, we try to be cost conscious as well to our community members, right? We don't want to have to sell off. I'm sorry, have to say it, but Certec's like 250 $250,000. We don't want to have to sell it off, right? Yeah, it's a big project
because you have a lot of contract. You're saying that because you have so many like because we already know typically for one contract is gonna cost where is it? Somebody help me out here. It's usually what 30K or something like that.
About
Can somebody
30,
throw on?
about 30K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now how many contracts do you have, Steven, total
Yeah,
that you need?
yeah. So there's a lot, right? So there's
Yeah,
there's a contract for Dow, staking, farming, locking, right? Our bridges,
a lot.
so right, and
Yeah.
so now we have Dex aggregator, we have swap as well, and so it's a huge project, right? And so we
Yeah.
have to, like I said, be cost conscious. We don't want to have to constantly have to sell, right? We do try to float that money out of the business, right, and then slowly let or do a emission rate of the tokens, right? So you don't see these huge swings, right?
What ideal business do you see? I think you named it here. I may have missed it when I was trying to set all this up. The ideal business that you want to start with for partnering up and getting this proof of concept rolling out with what type of business would you focus on?
I think which business will jump in quicker is small to medium size, right?
Okay.
They can afford the
what kind of sector though? Like tech, apparel?
Finance, any type of finance type structures, right? It could be a boutique that just wants to process crypto, right, for payments, right, and use our payment gateway, right, stuff like that, right.
So basically, it's a software.
Yeah, it's a software as a service.
Yes.
Is it patent or not yet?
We do have a couple of patents that we have filed. We're just waiting to see what that comes back at. Talking about another patent that we're working on very closely is for securities, right? How can we offer a security type NFT, right? That ties back into the government, right? And so that's a whole process that we're trying to work through and understand, right? Because eventually that will be a business, right? So,
and I know you got some NFTs to show us too, as well.
Yeah, I can show you. So again, that's that business, and that's project, right? The SaaS, the community services, and so on. There's also we're getting into the NFT space, right? And game development. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we put on 2022 that our list, right? The mobile app. Goji Gaming and Goji Finance, right? Goji Provest, right? That's a trademark application where it helps you define which liquidity pools make sense to actually not stake, but actually put your liquidity in, your funds in, right? So let me pull up a couple of screenshots. My my artists, right? We actually go out and actually go to artists and say we want 3 characters, right? Now these are the first 3 characters. We're planning on launching out at least 12 characters, which are gaming identities that have embedded gaming attributes in those for the NFT game, right? And so this is the first one of it, right? That's you'll probably see that on some people's Twitter accounts, our Discord channel, like you said, for newbies. Hey, join the Discord channel, do your own research, ask questions before you just jump in, right? And understand what the ecosystem is. Our admins and mods are very well educated on what's being released, what are the incentives and best deals you can get. So this is one of them, right? That's the Goji verse that we're talking about. Let me add another one. The artist reached back to me today, right? And this is the same, right? I have another one. So
while you look for that, real quick, I just want to say this. You know what I really like about what you and your team are doing here personally is that we were looking at this white paper and everything, and you're explaining all this to me, and I'm going, wow, this is a very interesting, complex project. But now it looks like we all know crypto. A lot of people want to see NFTs is a big marketplace, but a lot of people are drawn to projects that bring excitement and hype. But now instead of you just hyping things, you're actually bringing another product into the crypto space here. And I think these look really cool. Whoever your artist is, it gives me like that very I'm looking at it, I'm going like, man, these look like some really tricked out new age Ninja Turtles type vibe going, you know what I mean? Like animated.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is Champ the Chameleon, right? And so he'll change colors and so on. These are characters, right, that we're building out for the Goji verse, right, or the metaverse. They'll have embedded, these are the categories that I have. Each category has 10 different traits, right? We're talking about for uniqueness, it's 10 to the 21st power, right? There's a lot of uniqueness in there, right? And that's not including our gaming attributes, right? We have, quickness, power. We have a attribute called morphing. So in the game, you could actually have 6 characters that is your identity, or what we call it, Goji verse spears of reality, right? And you can morph back and forth to each of the characters that you have, right? To give you, say, one character has the speed of 2x, right? And you want to run through the Goji verse faster, right? You just morph into that character that's in your sphere of reality, and you're in that perspective of that character, right? And so this is Champ, right? Let me show you Princess, right? She's kind of a android woman, right? We have a different, right? And so we also are, this one kind of shows what that card's going to look like, right? So this is
that's cool.
Gangster.
Man.
Yeah.
So
like
that's our Goji card, right?
Is this the same artist?
Yeah, the same artist. Yeah, this is Rai art, right? So I contacted him. He was busy. I convinced him, and he is one fabulous artist. He does crunchy cows, right? So if you search up crunchy cows, that's his NFT. We have been working hand in hand for about, I would say, about a month now, right? These are getting ready to be actually not minted, but I'll have all the source. Like I said, it's 10 to the 21st power, so that's sextillion uniqueness that we could driven, right? And so out of that, we'll probably get, at first we were thinking 3,333. We might bump that up a little higher since we have so many different variations these characters can come out with, right?
How do we get how does Wealthyverse Studios get whitelisted for one of these NFTs? Because we really want to we have a public wallet, wealthyverse.eth, and I could tell you we're diamond handed holders.
Yeah.
We don't sell anything that's in our Wealthyverse ETH account. So how do we get whitelisted so we can get one?
Yeah,
it's pretty much our showroom of collected NFTs.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Shane, I saw on your wall, right? You have a lot of NFTs there, that artwork, right? These are gaming cards, right? We might take the same NFTs and generate artwork as well, right?
Oh, wow. I'll put it on my wall for you.
Absolutely. So it might be the same person, but let's remove the gaming card. Let's bring her up a little closer, right, and change the background. That's more, Art Deco type look, right? And so you can actually print them and actually have. We call these Goji heads, right? These are our Goji heads. Like I said, these are the first 3 characters. After Ryan's done with this, we're going to try to pursue him again for 3 more characters if he's available. If not, we'll go to artists, right? We're not taking something that's already generated out there. We're going to artists and actually designing what a character is, right? And then write some type of story behind it, right? What is Champ? Well, he's a chameleon. What's that spiritual piece that chameleon has, right? Well, chameleons, he has full awareness. Why? Because he has eyes that he can move in 2 different directions, not at the same time, right? And so we're building characters and value to that character, right? Instead of just launching something that's just a picture, right? We're trying to bring value to each of our characters that we'll have in our game, right? Like I said, I have been talking to some people that I worked with at Hanna-Barbera, and this is the expenses part, right? To go to animations or go into cartoons, right? We're looking at a big budget, right? But how can we do that, right? How can we, take something and eventually make, figurines or store bought items with these characters as well, right?
I think to me, the way I'm looking at it right now, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, look, we're gonna need more than one episode, but we
Yeah.
started with Goji. This was just a whole overview of the
Yes,
ecosystem. And I think
absolutely.
if we do have another episode, we're gonna start with Hainu because Hainu is the entry point. We're gonna break down Hainu all the way down, and then we're gonna move on because I feel like that's how people will really get to understand, like, boom, the whole
Yeah.
breakdown of this whole. Because you got one thing I will say. I spoke to Omar
Yes.
when I met Omar. I don't know how I met that brother. We just met. Like it was just we had one of those things that had to happen. And at that point, he was dealing with you. I don't know if he was a dev, I don't know, but he was a big advocate. And one of the things he told me, he was like, "Man, these guys are not built on hype, man. You see us out here just doing all these, paying all these big YouTubers and blah blah blah." And I look, I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I don't see none of that." And I look, I'm like, "Yo, these guys got a whole ecosystem. I thought it was just Hainu." And this is why when you told me
Yeah.
Goji came out, Maya came out, I'm like, bro, they already came out because I remember when he spoke to me, I look, those things weren't out yet. So now how and I've asked you this on the back end, and I want to know how many YouTube videos have you done so far? Like you speaking
And,
AMAs.
yeah, yeah. Speaking of emails, like I said, we did a lot of them on Telegram, right? And they were text, right? And I didn't see much need after doing a couple of them, right? It's like, well, like I said, I'm more of that personal person that likes to talk on video and actually have a face-to-face conversation, right? One, this is going to be the kicker. One of our legal actions on Coinbase is the project team interacts too much with the community. And so they kind of want us to pull back, right? We kind of wanted to be in the community as much as possible, be transparent and talk, right? But it makes sense for the future because a value could be tied to a person, right? And so we're trying to step back, but we're still going to do AMAs, as much as possible, where we're not in the community as much, but we fulfill the legal requirement for Coinbase, right?
That makes
Wow.
sense. Real quick, what Mr. Burt was saying, I do agree that, and I mentioned it too before he mentioned it, but that definitely is going to take more episodes, more involvement to push awareness because I feel like you, to be honest, I feel like this project isn't necessarily getting the attention it deserves right now. I think
Agreed.
you have a lot of interesting components and things that even I myself, I'm kind of a technical guy, that I need to sit down, put everything together, and then where I can create it and put it out in layman's terms for the audience. Because like when you're talking about it, I'm listening, I'm following along, I'm understanding, but I've been in the space since 2016, right?
Yeah.
I worked with Binance in 2017 as one of the first angels. So I've been through a lot of different projects and vetted a lot of different projects. And this type of project here for the typical audience, for a typical community person or investor that you would be trying to attract, I think is going to need a lot of, it's going to creative way to really push it out there and get your vision out there because I see the vision and I like it a lot. I feel like we would love to definitely get you on here again and do some episodes and push this out there because especially what you say you've got going on.
Yeah.
You've got the NASCAR thing coming. You have your aggregator that's coming. You have the staking that's coming. You have the NFTs that are coming. I feel like there's a lot to put together. But
Yep.
before we even get there, it would be nice for the audience to understand what Goji crypto is, just in a nutshell.
I'm a, I, I
Absolutely.
want to I want to say something before you start, Mr. Steven. And I was just thinking about it. And people, and as devs, as content creators, whatever you may be in crypto space, and you wonder, right? Why would somebody jump into a project that the devs are not docs, no KYC, no YouTube videos, no roadmap, barely a roadmap? When you get to the use case, it says, uh, we're still thinking about it, type of stuff, right? And and then you
To be
get to the
determined.
website. When you get to the white paper, it's coming out next week.
Yeah.
But then when you get to Telegram, there's the buy. What am I buying, right?
Yeah. What
And
are
you
you
see
buying?
a lot of people are getting in. Now think about this for a minute. A lot of people are getting into this project. These are the projects that are like, oh man, it's like $100 million market cap
Yeah.
within 2 days, right? And you wondering why.
Yep.
See, the thing is, and this is why going into the detail of these projects, and a lot of big project, good project that are new, people are not aping into them. It's because that, yeah, people are lazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's easier to fall into a project that you just see a website, barely any roadmap, barely any, it's easy. I don't have to think about it. That's how people really think. And this
Yeah.
is why it's important: education, crypto education, and the education about your project, constant communication about the project, so we can get people to understand the value of the project on a long-term basis versus something that just come out and could potentially cost you some money because you
Absolutely. I think the problem is with crypto, there's a lot of moon chasers, right? And so they're going to chase that run, right? We're a company that has long-term vision, right? And so over a longer period of time, you get the DCA and grow your investment, right? As we slowly release out these other projects, right? And that's our mantra, right? We're going 10 years from now, and it's really not. It is your investment, but it's also your next generation's investments and theirs as well, right? And so, how do we do this, right? We know we can't jump to 10 years from now, but we can always put in great infrastructure and build on that architect so it can survive, right? So you also see in the ecosystem, it's just not one project, all right, the SaaS or Goji services. It's the NFTs as well. It is the holdings, right? It's multiple businesses that will actually consume it, right? And so you don't have, if one project fails, it kills it, right? You have multiple business. Now hopefully we can start integrating with not just businesses that we run or control, other businesses outside of us that start consuming that ecosystem and bring a more utility to that token as liquidity. Right? Let me go back to Omar. He's a great guy, right? That's one thing we get to tell is we have a in-house compliance officer, right? He's certified, and he has been done an excellent job on helping us guide into different directions based on laws and regulations and so on. So
Yeah, Omar's a great guy. We were talking, and he definitely knows his stuff. And for him to be a part of this project is what, for me personally, has instilled some confidence in me taking a deeper look into the project, because you guys are more transparent. You have a compliance officer, and like I said, you guys are doing a lot of different things, and you even touched about that the pricing it would be to get the audits done, because I know that's not cheap. So I really appreciate you going through those necessary steps to reassure your investors and your community members, right?
absolutely. You
Um,
have to, right? I mean, a lot of the engineers and stuff like that, we know the same process they go through. We'll run through our safe check first and then have a third party audit just to have it, right? And so
but
that helps us speed up that development and audit time because we already run through all the open source tools that they'll use to certify something. And so we try to you know cut the path as fast as possible so audit doesn't there's not that many reiterations from audit to development, right? And so it'll cut down that cost. So,
yeah. So
funny
did
thing
you?
is, no, I was gonna say, Steven, funny thing is we should have been had this AMA, man. Blame Omar.
But blame
Oh
Omar.
wow.
No,
Oh man, you got to throw him under the bus, man. Omar,
Fuck
where you at?
yeah, that's a brother, man. That's my
Hey,
brother, man.
everybody should applaud Omar, right? We
He's
kind of have
amazing,
been
man.
putting off AMAs, right? We wanted to get closer to our product release, right? And he brought the show up. I said, let's run it, Omar. Let's do it, right? The community wants it, right? And I can sit there and talk about it. I can't be that much vocal anymore in the community, but this AMA is bigger just in our community, right? It's actually growing to other subscribers and holders, potential holders, right?
Yeah, and this is what's a lot of people in the space don't understand. Even some of these, people that try to be too corporate, like you be so corporate. But what we don't understand is, I get it. Like there's a lot of like YouTubers or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But crypto education is so behind. Okay,
Yeah.
we have to be able to use any means necessary to educate the community as to what these projects are about. How can we use these projects to actually impact the real world? And people need to know that. That
Yeah.
way, you can't bring in no money if people don't understand. And there's a lot of great projects out there. Goji is a great project, and people need to know every single detail of how it operates from beginning all the way to end, how everything's gonna really
Absolutely.
impact each other. So it's important. It's not shilling, and this is why I tell people this is not a shilling channel. If you wanted this shilling channel, go to the next YouTuber. This is not us. We're here to educate and have a discussion and ask questions and try to figure things out together where we could get an understanding as to, okay, well, this is what this project is all about, type of stuff.
I did want to say this, Stephen. I think he asked you, how many times have you shown your face out here? Because I'm curious, because you're showing your face. You're saying this is your name. Is this your full legal name?
Yeah, that's my full legal name. Right?
Okay, because I'm looking through. I will say this, and I'm glad you're showing your face and you're putting your full legal name out here, because when I do look through the website, and I look through the white paper, it's missing. I think who you are, what's going on, right?
Yeah, if you go to the token Ethereum page, right, and go into say on any of the tokens, right, and you can click that link in social. It goes to my social site. Right?
I think what would help is if you put that on the website and you put it in Twitter or something, and people can see that, because crypto's funny that way, man. I'm telling you, people will jump into stupid projects to have no name or anything, and they'll dive in, right? Like Mr. Burt was saying. But then when they see something like this, that gives you a lot of information and a lot of good things, but then they can't find a name, all of a sudden they're like, well, I don't want to get into it because I don't see I don't see somebody's name on there. You know what I mean? So I feel like you've put too much out here to not. You're doing yourself a disservice by not putting your name out there and for everybody to see,
Yeah, our first website had our pictures up, right? This is a rework, right?
Okay, that's what I was wondering. So it's a new website.
This is a new website.
Okay.
Right? This will. I don't know if any of y'all were sent what our swap looks like or what the last development looks like.
No, not yet.
Making stuff. I'll send you links to that, right? And you'll see a common branding that we're doing, right? The black, the Goji logos, and so on, right? And so you can see what that's going to look like. I'll send you the link so y'all can go through that. I think they're posted in our Discord channel. In fact, Discord is the place that I will go and talk, right? I sometimes will answer stuff on Telegram and Twitter, but it's the admins and mods, right, that I will talk to, and they disperse it. From there, that information does get dispersed to other social platforms, but Discord is the place. If you're waiting for an announcement and get to hear something first, that's where you're going to hear it, right?
So is that the busy? Because I'm looking at Telegram now. I think I'm in Telegram. I just joined it. You got about 910 members in there. How is it compared to how's Discord? Is Discord going to be?
I think it's about 1,300, 1,400. Right?
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense. And then Eric had another question. He's been very involved here today. He says he's a holder. He says, is Goji spreading itself too thin? Why not just focus on SaaS? Why NFTs?
Yeah, so we engage different development teams and projects, right? like I said, we run a skeleton crew, right? So we don't want the overhead, right? And so our NFTs are being developed. Like I said, the artist is doing that, right? We have another firm that's going to help us market it and launch the Goji Heads NFTs. We have a SaaS development team that's doing that. That's totally separate. And then we have Gotbit that does all of our staking, farming, and so on, right? And so we do different projects, right? That we can do it concurrently or in parallel, right? And provide a broader view of those applications, right? So if we were all like in-house team, I would agree with Eric. We would spread ourselves thin, but we don't, right? We engage outside companies to actually build that project to a certain specification. Right?
That's awesome.
Yep.
So it says Discord looks way more active. So I'll join the Discord because I'm in Telegram, and then I think I can hear the alerts like hitting your phone. Is that you?
That's
Every time
me.
right there.
That's me.
That's the signature.
Yeah,
That's awesome,
I'm
man.
very-
That shows that you're involved, man. You're like you want to be on top of it, you know.
Yeah, I like I said, I have pulled back since the Coinbase one of the legal actions, but I do spend time, right? I mean, I wake up at 4 a.m. I talk to, our development team, see where we're at, right? And then I engage with other businesses and see what we can do going forward, right? And so my morning starts up early, but if usually the normal process is I'll hop on Discord and I'll chat with people at that early in the morning, right? It's usually overseas people, right? They always got to hear something from it. I hate that they don't get it today, right? Because we're trying to not be the face anymore. But hopefully, like I said, we have great mods and admins that can step in there and answer any question. Plus, they know how to reach out to me. And again, if you find what my handle is on Discord, anybody can DM me. It might take me a day or so to answer you, but I will always answer any questions that comes about. Right. So
I like that.
Amazing, Mr. Steven. Now we've been up here for about an hour and 12 minutes. There's so much more to talk about in relating to this project, and we sure do want to continue the conversation. But that's all up to you guys. It's all up to you, and I'm pretty sure the community will appreciate the fact that this is how they're gonna learn about the project. Like we've talked about a detailed plan as to from the beginning and always step by step, and how do we connect all the dots, because this is a huge project.
yep,
This is a whole ecosystem,
it's
and
an ecosystem.
yeah, which is good.
It's
And
not a project. It's an ecosystem, right?
I've known about you guys for quite a while since I met Omar, and it's been like maybe 4, 5, 6 months
Yeah.
already. I don't remember, but it's been a while since I've known Omar. He's told me about your project. At that time, you only had Henu out.
Yeah.
And to see you guys have made it this far, but
Yeah.
one of the things he's always told me is that like this is not built on hype, and I've seen it too because I follow you guys, which is a good thing. So yeah, there's definitely we want to go ahead and talk some more and
Yep.
see if we could put something together, maybe of because these are the type of project we like to talk about. I mean, we support
Absolutely.
many projects that are long term but have a significant impact in crypto, and
Yep.
I would think that your project is one of them. So yeah, definitely would really like to actually continue a conversation to see what we can do, because what a lot of people don't understand is that, and I'm gonna go ahead and be blunt right here. You got a lot of guys that are you going on Twitter, YouTube, you look at these guys that got 100 and 200,000 subscribers, and you pay them $30,000 for one video. No, actually, no, I'm lying. It's $100,000. That's what these guys are
Trust me.
asking, plus your tokens,
Yeah.
plus some of them want to see your contract. That's just I'm not saying they wrong. This is just I like, if I had a project, I'd be like, brother,
Yeah.
we're not family. I can't give you my contract. So
Yeah.
I probably charge that for a year of work, but that's just
Yep.
It just doesn't make sense, right? But the SEO matters. The constant updates, the constant videos updates matters to the SEO. So you could actually attract more people
Yep.
when you focus on the SEO is better than when you focus on how many subscribers that person has. Because all his subscribers maybe say Tama, maybe Shib, maybe get what I'm saying. So these
Yep.
people probably would never buy in because they sold into their community. People
Absolutely.
don't pay attention. You gotta follow be careful with the community YouTubers. I love everybody, I respect everybody, but I gotta keep it real. So at the end of the day, I had Dev that called me out for videos, and I said, listen, man, how much you gonna pay this person? I said, think about it. You got $30,000? Do a raffle. Put $30,000 out there. Say, if you do a video, everybody could win $1,000. How much benefit would you get from that by having videos being pumped up by 30 different YouTubers? Some people, if I was in a YouTuber, best believe I'd be a YouTuber just so I could get it. I'm just saying, I gotta keep it real. This is how I teach my people,
No,
right?
you're
The
keeping
SEO,
it real, man.
when we're dealing with the internet, the consistency matters more than the actual numbers based on where the numbers coming from. So with that being said, guys, we've been up here for a little while. We love it. It was you got an amazing project, Mr. Steven. We would love to have you back here again should we have another opportunity to have you back here, because I'm pretty sure the community is interested into your project and they have some more, they want to know more.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. Hey,
so,
Shane, if you go to
Shane,
announcements, right, you'll see the staking pool, right?
Okay.
If you scroll up, you'll see I think one of the staking app, right? I'll send you links to it, but if you see
I
that,
see
that's
it.
how you access the GABA rewards, right? But
You know what I like about this? I will say this is I can see why Discord's better for you guys because you got so much going on. And by the way, it took me a long time to get into this Discord. I was working on it for the last 5 minutes with your security. So
verify.
yeah, it's good though because that means that you're not going to have a lot of BS bots in here and fake people.
Yep.
And it really goes to show that you guys are really doing everything you need to do to protect your community. So I'm going to be spending some time in here, taking a look at a lot of different things. You got a lot of different stuff here. It's a very big channel. I like this. It breaks things down. This is what I'm talking about. So you have so much that you really can't use Telegram because the Telegram doesn't do it justice for having to break everything down. You got so much wealth of information and you've got to break it down this way. So I appreciate you guys doing that and organizing it this way because you kind of have to. I see the Goji NASCAR here. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
So that's the other thing we do. We have a NASCAR pool, right? I can't remember. Wilkie probably could tell you what it was. I think it was, I don't know, let's say $100 Matic or maybe 125 Matic, right? And so it's a random drawing, right? And so every week you get a different driver, right? And so it's points based. But after every 4 races, I think we give out $200 a Matic, right? Some people choose Hanu, right? But we do Matic, so they can choose if they want Hanu, they can buy it or whatever. And so it's great. It gets people involved into the NASCAR piece, right? And have you root for a certain driver.
Yeah. So the Goji Lounge, the community channel, that's going to be the primary channel to hang out in?
Yeah, that's pretty much. That's where I do all my announcements.
Perfect. Well, we'll definitely be hanging out there, man. I look forward to learning more about you guys, and I definitely am going to be doing more research. And I think a lot of people in our audience and our subscribers I saw quite a few different comments where they're like, "Whoa, what is this? We need to do more research." So definitely would like to go into it some more.
Yeah, like I said, new people, do your own research. Join Discord. Talk, ask, right? Before you just jumping in and let the community guide you. All of our community members are pretty well educated, right? They have been here since the beginning, right? And so they can tell you almost anything I can tell you.
Awesome.
Quick question on the Discord. Have you had anyone have issues with the CAPTCHA bot? Because for some reason I've hit verify like 20 times and it keeps just sending the same little captcha bot message.
Hey, you got to read the part where you got to actually log in and go to the thing, and
Yeah,
you
no,
can
it's
put more.
still.
Nah, I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, oh no, it still wouldn't let me in.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes we do have problems with the catch up bot. Maybe one of the mods can help you. There's a verify that you have to do, right?
Mhm.
I'm not too familiar with it. Again, like
It takes some effort, dude. That's why it
Takes
took me
some
about a
effort.
good 5 minutes, and I'm a technical guy. So.
Trust me, bots still get around it. Sometimes we get flooded
Oh,
with
really?
and,
Yeah.
and we have to go out there and
Wow.
and ban a bunch of bots. But it hasn't happened lately, so hopefully the capture is working right.
Bert won't be able to find his way in here. He's just going to rely on me. That guy.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you. I like to keep things simple. A wise man told me simplicity is power. And ever since I've heard that word, my life has been at peace.
But then he got into crypto.
Hey, I'm still. Why you think I'm so harsh when I'm talking to these people, man? I'm like, yo, man, y'all just gotta get off my back, get off, because y'all. I see y'all trying to get at these other YouTubers, but the thing is different. We're different. We're so different. We love the community. We want to be something different. We want to bring them value.
Yeah.
Okay. But even if we bring you a project you don't like, it's not a bad project. It's just you don't like it, right? It's just give you a different way of thinking. So we all of us have been through it. And I've always tell people this is our chance to make a difference. It's not going to be perfect. We are in a journey. Where this journey is going to take us, we don't know, but we have to stick together, and this is an opportunity we didn't think we were going to have. Prior to 2009, nobody knew about crypto.
Yeah.
So we have a chance now. So I feel like we have to do something better with it instead of fighting each other and, calling each other liar or whatever, right? We could do better.
Absolutely. That's the whole concept around Goji, right? It's also education, it's awareness, right? It's building a better future in society, right? And so how do we do that? We can't do it just by ourselves, but it's by community members, right? It's about sharing, it's about transfer of knowledge, it's about helping, right? And building each day by day to get us to that future. Like you say, it's a journey, right?
It is a journey. And I'm pretty sure if you guys were thinking about doing all this yourselves, you wouldn't make it this far.
Yeah.
So you guys have been doing a great job. Omar have told me, so I go with what Omar says. And like, Birdman, we don't even focus on the hype, man.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. These are the type of projects that I like to dive into and take a look at, because the meme coin market, personally, while it's fun and everything like that, I think the value, the thought process into really creating something that's going to really change the way we operate within the crypto space. This is it. This is the type of project that you're finding a solution to bridge the gap between businesses and corporations into the crypto space. So for me, I like the proof. I want to see the proof of concept and see how it really all comes out. And then you've got the NFTs that you guys are concentrating on as well. So the NFTs itself is bringing the fun stuff that comes with everything. So now you're tying it all together. And it looks like you're going to have a lot of donuts and smoking tires from NASCAR. And I love fast vehicles. So definitely I'm looking forward to it. And $100 from Pounded Puppet. Solid AMA, gentlemen. Goji is the future. We appreciate that. Thank you so much for that solid bill. Wow.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, like the NFTs, the tokenomics on there, right? We're taking actually 45% and returning it back to liquidity pools and so on, right? So we can, like you said, it's at $250,000, right? We want to build those up bigger and bigger, right? And so there's less volatility, right?
Yeah.
I think the other, 35% is going in development, and then 20% in marketing, right? And so that's the breakout, right? And I think we have some set for reserves for artist fees if required, right? So yeah, again, hopefully we can roll out 12 different characters by the end of this year, right? So
sorry, I'm laughing.
Who's puppets?
Puppets is the one that
Counting
gave us the
Puppets.
$100 thing, and then Andrew's over here
Hey,
making
you
fun of
know,
you because you look
I'm
so
gonna tell
serious,
you.
Bert. You look so
No, no, no,
serious.
no, no. I'm gonna tell you why he said that. He has to have been a long time watcher. I actually went in tears one time, man. Early on, I went in tears because I seen people just throwing me money, and the thing is, I don't know what kind of YouTuber you guys been watching and have used to watch. I think I'm just like anybody, man. That's why I always tell people. That's why I talk the way I talk. Like I'm no better than you. You could just turn on your phone and next thing you know you're a YouTuber. And I'm seeing people paying me, man. That was like way like 2 months, 3 months ago, and I went in tears. Like people, when you people can tell you they appreciate things and they see things. Oh, I love the community, bro. I love you guys, man, because I'm seeing people. I don't even know you guys. You guys want to come out the pocket. What the heck? What I'm supposed to do? Curse you out? I gotta cry, man. So I went in tears, man. I think that's why he said that. And I'm be real with you. Like I talk to you guys the way I talk to you guys because I care, man. And when somebody say they care, it doesn't mean they know you. It's because they know your struggle. They know what you went through. They
Absolutely.
get it because I didn't get no silver spoon, man. Like I fight for everything I've had. That's why I don't take no junk from nobody in this space or anybody that come to me, man. I had to fight. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So yeah, it touches me when I see people showing love. It really does. Because
Yeah.
I'm human. I got feelings. So I think that's what he was referring to.
Like
Yeah.
that, man. I like that.
Yeah,
I will say this. I wish that and we understand we are the source. Wealthy versus the source for crypto culture. So we're going to cover a lot of broad range of different projects, a lot of developers and stuff. But I do encourage if there are future developers and other projects that are people thinking about creating their own project, really take a look at Goji. Take a look at what Steven Banner and his team has done here, and what Omar with the compliance team, and take some notes, because I feel like this is truly the future once we get out of the meme coin phase of everything. That I think this right here, it just doesn't get the attention it deserves personally. But I've been in the space since 2016. So I understand everything. That sounds like my dog. I
is
have a
that
German
Jedi,
Shepherd. His
bro?
name's Jedi. But I'll bring him on a show later. But what kind of dog is that?
Well, I have a Newfoundland and I have a Great Dane. So
Oh, that
Oh,
sounded like
man.
the Great Dane.
yeah.
Was
Yeah,
it?
well, it was both of them. They
Oh,
were
okay.
barking. I guess someone was knocking at my neighbor's door. So
Those are some good guard dogs. I tell you
yeah.
that.
Well, my Great Dane, she's small. She's only 110 pounds. My Newfoundland, he's 160. He was the runt, right?
Yeah.
Man, hey, Kings came on. Kings came on. I think Kings was interested in something.
Yeah, he came
Came on.
on,
He
and I don't
left.
know.
But we were so into the
We'll link
conversation. We
we'll
didn't
link you
even.
up with him.
Yeah.
He's got some things, but no, definitely, man. We look forward to it. Steven, is there anything that you wanna, any last words, anything that we didn't cover that you want to cover that you had on the agenda, or anything for the audience?
No. I mean, that's the other thing about our community member. We're all very close to each other. It's like a family, right? It's a tight knit community. Everybody kind of knows each other. Pounding puppets. He's a great guy, right? Luckily, I have got to talk to most of these community members one on one or in a group, right? And I love this AMA. We'll sit down and figure out what our next path, which the next one we should approach, right? Should we talk more on the NFT? Should we go deeper dive in our staking and farming services, or just the SaaS, right? And just make
I
it
think
a
I,
segment just on that.
I think
Yeah.
we need to have a series.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
we can.
I think we need a series to break everything down into a whole connection story from the Hainu all the way down to
Yeah.
what is it, Hana?
Now there's we have Hanu and all the way up to GABA, right?
Gabba. That's what I meant. So
GABA's the
all the
governance.
way, we need to connect everything together because I want people to have a full series of education on what is the whole ecosystem of Goji is all about, how everything is connected. But mainly, I know, and from what I got, is actually a payment processing system,
Mhm.
which
Yep.
is actually very important for most people that don't get it. Is everything you do is actually associated with some type of payment processing,
Yep.
especially right now. And think about when we're going on to the future of crypto. right?
Yep.
It's gonna be payment processing, and the idea of you allowing other businesses that may not involve with crypto having that access by using that technology, this is actually amazing to me.
Yep.
And I think
Absolutely.
this is why Kings was on here, and we're gonna talk about that later.
Absolutely.
Who
But
runs your Twitter? Real quick before we get off, I want the audience and anybody that is watching this recording in the future, make sure I'm going to pull it up here real quick, share my screen, but I want to make sure that everybody sees your Twitter page.
Yeah.
And this is going to be it. It's going to be at Goji_crypto. Make sure y'all take a look at that and follow. And definitely looking forward to following the news over here as well. So,
And that's the other thing to remember. Any swapping, remember, it's such a slippage lower, right? We're not one of those mem coins or those rocket ships, right? You don't need to set it to 10, 15%, right? Set it low. If not, arbitrage bots or front runner bots will get ahead of you, right? So that's very important. Yep.
Yep. You're right. A lot of people put the wrong amount of slippage. You'll get what's called a sandwich, where they'll sandwich your transaction. They'll front run you and get you, and you pretty much get screwed. So that's good. We got to do a video about that, Bert, sometime, and let our beginners know about this. Yeah. So I like that you put this up here.
Sure. Well, I think it's funny when a bot gets front run.
Yes. For sure, 100%.
But it might look good on the chart for a while, but it's going to go down quickly. Yeah.
Jessica with the 20. I'm gonna put you over the edge, Bert. Little nudge. I saw a little smile come out Bert's face there. Let's see that teardrop. You got that tear's got to come out.
And the crazy thing is, I'm very like a tough brother, man. It's just I don't know, just whatever. But man, we appreciate you, Jessica. She's always here, man. Like we have some hardcore. Even that guy who's always talking crazy.
That guy, look, you need a brand ambassador, troll protection. Man. I got you, bro. Troll protection because nobody can out troll this guy. That's for sure.
He's always supporting, man.
That's funny. Well, that's all I have. All my questions got answered. Like I said, it's going to take me some time to dive into this, but I'm glad to have met you, Steven. I'm glad that you came on our show and we got to have this episode because I think definitely I want our audience and our subscribers to really see what Goji is about.
Absolutely. No, I enjoyed it. Right. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Steven. Thank you to the whole Goji community. Those of you who were here tonight, thank you to all community. Thank you to all mods, everybody who showed love, who came out tonight and showed support. As you guys know, we are here every day from Monday to Friday at 6 Central Time PM. We love to be with you guys. We love the time that we spend together. We love to bring you guys projects. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or have any comments, always, if you can't comment down below, hit us up on Twitter. We'll be here for you guys. Thank you, Mr. Steven, for being here, presenting your project to us. It was supposed to happen a long time ago, like I said, Omar. No. That's my boy, though. Yep. But yeah, any last word for everybody?
I'm good.
Good.
All
right. I'm ready when you are, Bert.
Legal alien. You've been quiet, man. You acting like you still illegal.
It's a lot to swallow,
Tony,
man. There's just so much I need to look into.
Tony, let's hear some closing words in Spanish real quick.
Pues este proyecto es muy complejo. Es en el aspecto de las criptomonedas. Tiene una función que ni es algo que está usado. O sea, hay bien alta oportunidad con este proyecto.
Awesome.
So you just said it is very interesting, but yet very complex. I need more time to figure it all out, right? Boy, I speak body language, bro.
Look at that, man. You're not Haitian, man. You're not Haitian. You're lying.
When it comes to body language, people speak the same language. You see the hat move. When he says certain thing, the hat moves a certain way. His head moves a certain way. I'm not okay. I got you, bro.
I know what he's saying.
But
anyhow, when you are, Bert, you let me know.
Y'all be easy. Have a wonderful evening. This was the Wealthyverse Show, man. Come back again for the next event. You catch us on Twitter. Make sure to go follow Goji. Go follow them on Twitter. And also make sure you join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at, not on Telegram. But with that being said, Shan, hit the outro.